Elizabeth II is the most well-known monarch in the world and has been in power for a very long time. She was a strong woman who had done a lot of great things. But have you ever thought about where this queen lived, her lifestyle, and what happened in her life? Don't be afraid. In this video, we will tell you everything. So, before we jump onto the main part, please subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon to remain in touch with us. Let's get into the video. Queen Elizabeth II. On June 2nd, 1953, Queen Elizabeth II was crowned. On February 6, 1952, she became queen. She was the mother of Prince Charles, the heir to the throne, and the grandmother of Prince William and Harry. As a monarch who ruled Britain the longest, she tried to make her rule more modern and aware of how people were changing while still keeping the traditions that came with the crown. The early life of Queen Elizabeth. Princess Elizabeth Alexandra Mary was born in London on April 21, 1926. She grew up to become Queen Elizabeth II. Prince Albert, Duke of York, and Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon were her parents. Prince Albert was the father of King George VI. When Elizabeth was born, most people didn't know that she would become Queen of Great Britain. Elizabeth, called Lilibet, was a princess for the first 10 years of her life, but she didn't have to worry about becoming the next king or queen. Elizabeth's parents live in London, in Windsor Great Park at Royal Lodge. Tutors taught Elizabeth and Margaret at home. French, math, history, dance, singing, and art classes were offered. Elizabeth and her sister stayed at Windsor Castle during World War II. Her first memorable radio speech was in 1940. This was to comfort British children taken from their homes and families. The 14-year-old princess told them, "Everything will be fine because God will give us peace and victory." Elizabeth quickly secured high-profile jobs. In 1942, she went public to check on the troops. Her parents began taking business travels around Britain. Accession to the throne. In 1951, King George VI's health deteriorated, so Princess Elizabeth replaced him at Trooping the Colour and other ceremonies. On October 7, she and her husband began a successful tour of Canada and DC. She and the Duke departed England in January 1952 for Australia and New Zealand. On February 6, 1952, in Sagana, Kenya, they learned the king had died. Queen Elizabeth returned to England immediately. The first 3 months of her reign were spent alone as she mourned her father. After moving to Buckingham Palace in the summer, she began doing queenly things. On November 4, 1952, she opened Parliament. Westminster Abbey crowned her on June 2, 1953. The Queen and Duke of Edinburgh took a 6-month tour throughout the Commonwealth in 1953. First reigning British king to visit Australia and New Zealand. In 1957, she and the Duke toured Europe. They went to Canada, and the United States was the first British royal to visit India in 50 years. She visited South America and Persian Gulf in 1968. In 1979, during her Silver Jubilee in 1977, she hosted a banquet in London for 36 Commonwealth leaders. She taught Britain, Northern Ireland, South Pacific, Australia, Canada, and the Caribbean. Prince Charles was Queen Elizabeth's clear heir. Prince of Wales was named on July 26, 1958 and titled on July 1, 1969. Princess Anne, born August 15, 1950, became royal in 1987. Prince Andrew, born in 1960, became the Duke of York in 1986. Prince Edward, born March 10, 1964, became Earl of Wessex and Viscount Severn in 1999. In 1960, Elizabeth gave other descendants who were not princesses, or royal highness the name Mountbatten Windsor. Elizabeth's first grandson was born on November 15, 1977. the total net worth of Queen Elizabeth. Depending on the source, the Queen's net worth was estimated to be anywhere from $447 million to $600 million. She was very rich because her father, King George VI, left her a lot of money. This was one way she made money on her own that didn't come from British taxpayers, though much of it did come from colonization and profiting off of the invasion of foreign countries. Her assets include Balmoral Castle, $140 million, and Sandringham Estate, $65 million, fruit farms, stud farms, marine land all over the United Kingdom, and her jewelry collection. When the Queen Mother died in 2002, she left her daughter some of her $94 million worth of property. This included priceless work of art, Fabergé eggs, jewelry, and horses. The Queen also got a lot of Prince Philip's property, worth about $30 million. The government also gave the Queen an allowance called the Sovereign Grant annually. This money comes from the profits of the Crown Estate, a group of lands and holdings in the United Kingdom that belong to the British monarch. In 2020, the Crown Estate made $475 million. The royal family got a quarter of that amount. The privy purse passed down from monarch to monarch was another way for the Queen to get money. It got its money from the Duchy of Lancaster, a huge group of land holdings that include 45,700 acres of farmland in North England and the land where the Savoy Hotel in London is located. Death of Queen Elizabeth. Elizabeth II, Queen of the United Kingdom and other Commonwealth countries, died on September 8, 2022 at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. She had lived for 96 years. She was the British monarch who lived the longest and ruled the longest. At 1830 BST, it was said that she had died. After that, leaders from all over the world said what they thought about it. Her eldest son, Charles III, took over after her. When the Queen died, Operation London Bridge, a set of plans for her funeral, and Operation Unicorn, a set of rules for what to do if the Queen died in Scotland, were put into action. The whole country of the United Kingdom will be sad for 10 days. At 11 a.m. on September 19, 2022, a state funeral will be held at Westminster Abbey. The video for today is over. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it, leave a comment and suggest some other videos to watch. In the next video, we will catch up with you. Thanks for watching.